please. Okay, we are live. Hello everyone. I'm here with Demonica and Mac from season 1 of 0 Degrees Kelvin. We're gonna spill all of the tea and answer your questions if anyone's gonna watch. But if you don't and you have questions and you're watching later, you could always comment and I could answer them if I see them. So we're just gonna start down the line. Demonica, why don't you go ahead and then tell us a little bit about yourself, and then Mac, you can afterwards.
Well, I'm Demonica. I'm a cunt, and a bitch, and I'm a really sweet person.
Hi everyone, my name is Maher. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I am studying theater at Joliet Junior College right now, and a lot of other stuff, but that's the gist.
All right. So the first main question that I have would be, why did you first want to play the first season of 0 Degrees Kelvin? And we'll start with Mac.
Well, I really wanted to play 0 Degrees Kelvin because I had played a version of Strategic Aspect. We don't really talk about that version. It's who's she, who's he, we don't know her. But basically, I played and I thought it was fun, and then Matthew reached out to me and I wanted to play 0 Degrees.
And then Demonica.
I don't know. I definitely am down to play any game that is created by the Strategic Aspect team, or Matt, or even Grayson or whoever. I'm never going to say no to them. I was actually asked to do this, but then I heard about the cast, and I was like kind of on the fence because I had problems with people in the cast. Then I thought, fuck it, let's go and do it. So here I am. There I was.
So did you have any sort of strategy going into the game, or did you just want to go in blind and kind of see how things worked out for you? And we'll start with Demonica.
Well, whenever you play a game like this, you have to feel the people out, and that's what the most important part of the game is. Really, I mean, the step counts and stuff like that is important, but really, it all boils down to having the social aspect of the game. And being able to stay on top of things and being able to know what's going on in other people's heads. And I had a lot of enemies in the game. So not a lot of enemies, but I had some enemies in the game and people that didn't really know me, or, and people that were friends. So I had a lot of cards stacked against me. So my whole strategy was to try to align with somebody that I trust, and hopefully another person, and just kind of control things, control the vote. And that's what my strategy was, just to control the vote.
I think a lot of my strategy was very similar to Demonica's, where it was know where you are at all times with everyone in the game, whether you have had past history with them or not, because I have had past history with all of these people. And I know that I didn't stand very well with DJ, as he said, and as I said. And so I feel as though partly the reason why I did so well is because I found a number 1 that I stuck to and was loyal to, and it's the queen herself right there. So,
yep, Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
So Mac kind of started the discussion of this. So we'll start with him. When you saw the cast, what was your first initial reaction? And did you think that you were going to make it to the placement that you did? Or do you think that you were going to be an earlier or later booth?
I really thought that I was going to be gone first. Just because people kept taking points from me. I was getting colder and colder, 0 Degrees Kelvin and all. And I just really was nervous because I didn't know where Quincy stood. I thought maybe he was the middleman.
And he was.
All right, Demonica, go ahead.
My initial reaction to the people, well, first of all, I definitely had a lot to say about the people that I was playing with. I had just left a situation with DJ where I lost my main DSBB account, and it crushed me. I mean, like, it really did crush me to my soul, because that was like a very important account to me. So I was very angry about that still. And seeing him after that was, I just could see nothing but revenge and making sure that he got out first before me. And honestly, I thought I was dreaming. I mean, it really was. DJ is a great, despite what my feelings were at the time for him, I can say this now. DJ is actually one of the best players to come in contact with in the game. And when you see him, you should not take him lightly. So even though I didn't like him, and even though I knew that him and Nicole were friends and they were, they were a tag team, I knew that they needed to be separated. And that was my main goal, is to make sure that these two got separated as soon as possible. Quincy, I kind of knew Quincy he's a soft, he's a softie. He has feelings. He doesn't, he's not a mean person. So I also knew he was connected deeply in this community with these type of people. So, but I also knew he liked me too. So I kind of was taken back when he was not really confident in being aligned with me. It showed me a lot of who he really was. And so when I see him in other games, I don't approach him the same way, because I literally thought, oh, he loves me. He's going to be there for me and stuff. And I really feel like it was the total opposite. I feel like I could have been in danger if he had stayed in the game any longer, or if DJ had gotten his way. And then Dylan was somebody I didn't really have any contact with. I didn't really know him at the moment, but if you look at Dylan, you could tell he's not an idiot. And I never sleep on people that look like him, because they usually are very smart, very strategic, and I was absolutely right. He's definitely also a threat. So that was a very scary game. I mean, you had a lot of big players in that game.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and ask Demonica the next question. So after the first phase, what was your thought process about the vote? And did you want to get a big threat out, or were you just wanted to work with your alliance and hope that you could make it to the end?
Well, I was kind of iffy about Mac, but I trusted Mac out of everybody the most. So I knew that I had to take a gamble with Mac. And I can kind of tell if Mac is not on my side because of the way he talks. And I really felt his energy. I felt like he was really on my side. But at the same time, I had to watch him. But what I found mostly fascinating about this game was the way the points were, the steps were taken away from people, and how instead of going to space 30, you got to keep a person from voting. That part of the game, oh my God, if that was in a strategic aspect, I think a lot of people like Colleen, Jalen, and Dominic, all these really big players, Rory, not Rory, because Rory is really strategic, but these people would have a lot of problems with that. And I think that they need to try it, because I think it'll be a different game. That is the most fascinating part about 0 Degrees, is the voiding someone's vote. I thought that was a major factor in my win.
Mac, go ahead.
So after the first cycle was over, I was like, well, that didn't go very well, because I had a bunch of people take from me. So I knew I had to solidify a one-on-one right away. And kind of similar to what Demonica said, the reason why we cut Quincy when we did was because I wasn't sure where he stood. I had a feeling that he would pick Nicole over us no matter what. And I feel like when you were reading the votes, I was shaking, because I was like, there's no way I'm getting through this. But thankfully, Demonica remained loyal, showed her Hufflepuff, and final 2.
And you know, and one more. Can I say one more thing before you go into the next question?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
As far as Quincy goes, I did feel bad about what we had to do to him, but he definitely did not give us any other alternative. I mean, like Quincy, Quincy is just. I mean, I would have loved to have taken him to Final Three, but I told him that I was going to vote him out, and so I don't feel like it was that much of a manipulation. I feel like he knew that his end had come, like before it happened. So I don't really think we just really like lied to him and manipulated him. Well, at least I didn't, you know.
All right. So we'll start with Mac this time. Once it was revealed that Dylan was eliminated, what was running through your mind? And were you trying to think, okay, now that I've survived, what do I do next?
Well, I was thinking, thankfully, we have Quincy in our back pocket now because Quincy had voted with us. I was pretty sure at the time, and he ended up doing so, which was great. And then moving forward, I knew we had to get DJ out just because DJ has the powers of manipulation. He is a great player at any game he ever plays because he listens so well. And so we needed to move on and get DJ out. Part of the reason why I chose DJ next in the pecking order, I felt like him and Nicole were so close, and we needed to injure Nicole a little bit so that way she would feel shook up and come to Demonica or I if she wanted an ally moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Demonica, go ahead.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So once it was revealed that Dylan was eliminated, what ran through your mind? And was at that point, were you thinking, okay, what do I do now to get me further in the game?
Yeah, I definitely, after Dylan left, but I was confident in the voting. My whole strategy was getting to that 30 spot and making sure either me or Mac were able to void votes. And I feel like I really rode that because I was like, that's our key. That's our fucking key to get to the end of this game is keeping these people from voting. And I just kind of rode on that. Dylan, I didn't know who he was. Like I did not know who he was. So I wasn't really affected by his leaving. He just was another person I felt that would have gotten me out. So I was still focused on DJ because I actually want to take DJ out first. But I knew that you can't just go for the big dogs at the beginning. So I was patient, and I think patience and just really thinking and communicating with my ally was the key to success in that game. That's it. Did I answer the question? Is he frozen?
He is frozen. I think maybe his computer died. So, oh, here he is.
Hi, sorry. I don't know what happened to my internet.
Yeah, there you go. You're there. You're there.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we'll start with Demonica for this next question. And it's kind of funny that I'm asking you about this. At the end of phase 2, you and DJ got into a major argument. Were you surprised that you fought with DJ, or were you just kind of like waiting for it to happen?
I didn't think that we were going to, but when a person comes into a room and they start saying things under tone, like they're not directly saying them to the person, and you know that they're talking about you, and especially when I had just talked about the SBB to the person, I knew that he was talking about me. So whenever someone does that to me and they don't directly say, he said he wasn't talking about me, but he was talking about me and he was talking of me. So, he never said he would address me, but I just don't like that. If you're a brave person, if you're the big man on campus per se, then just say what you fucking have to say. I mean, like, don't beat around the bush. And I did feel like when people do that, it's underestimating my intelligence, and it's also showing that you either don't want a confrontation, that you really don't want a confrontation, but you have to say it. You can't hold it in. But I also feel like DJ knew he was leaving. And I feel like that was a big part of why we got into it, because he was upset that his goose was cooked.
All right, Mac, go ahead.
I thought the fight was iconic for view's sake. I believe in good karma and bad karma. And a lot of what DJ said to me before the fight even occurred was a little rude. And I felt relieved that I wasn't getting into an altercation, because that tends to put a target on your back. And I feel as though the attention was off of me at that point. So I felt good because I didn't think I was going to get votes. That turned out to not be the case, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And then I was so glad that it was on to cycle 3 with my day 1, which I referred to her as, but it was all filmed and all one day.
That was the upsetting round, because that's the round that Quincy was so upset about voting him out, and it was making it so obvious. So that round was kind of, we did manipulate him into voting him out. So I mean, I would have been upset too. But oh well.
Who did we just start with? We started with Demonica. Okay, so this is for Mac. This was kind of wrote for like people that weren't you guys, so I'll rephrase it. So when you voted out Quincy, is it just because you didn't need him anymore, or was he like a threat to win at the end?
So I talked a little bit about that earlier, but I'll repeat what I said and then rephrase it maybe. I did not know Quincy as well as I knew Demonica. And I felt this connection to Demonica because we were part of the LGBTQ plus community. And I felt as though it was more beneficial for me to take Demonica farther because Quincy was ahead in his points. And I needed specifically to get someone out that was up in points because I was down in points.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Demonica, go ahead. Same question.
Repeat, please. I keep wrapped up in what his comment was, but go ahead.
No, you're fine. So when you guys voted out Quincy, did you do it just because like he needed to go, or did you do it because he was the threat to win at the end?
Both. I feel like Quincy showed a lot of loyalty to the other side. I feel like Quincy also was high in the points. Of course, if he had made it to the end, he would have won. But for me, mostly it was the fact that he just could not contain his emotions. That, I felt very threatened by that. I felt like, okay, he's not. Is he really on my side? Is he not? I kind of knew that he didn't want. I think he even said I don't want to vote my friends out. So I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer to get him out. I mean, at that point, because even though DJ was gone, you still had Nicole there, and we didn't want them linking up. So it was time for him to go.
All right. So this is going to be for Demonica to start with. The final 3 was you, Mac, and Nicole. Did you have an idea that you 3 were going to be the last 3 standing, or were like you just completely shocked at this point, like super surprised to be there? And like, what was your thought process the round before the final cycle?
Well, I'm not very new to making Final 3 in these type of games. I mean, I made Final 3 in SA 19. So, I mean, I'm used to making it to the final stages, but then being cut. So I just kind of was accepting the fact that, okay, this is probably the point where Mac is going to turn on me. So that was really scary to me going into that round because, once again, Nicole is still there. And everybody loved her. And so, I was very nerve-wracked by that. I also felt like she was connecting with Mac too. So I just was feeling a little weird about it. But But you know what? When me and Mac were just communicating throughout that process, I felt like I was in a good position. I feel like we both were in a good position. We knew what to do, and you can't just drop a person you fought all the way to the end with at the end. I mean, I was not going to go against Mac at that point. Nicole was the target.
Now you could, but I didn't want to do that. Going into the final three, I was so glad that I had Demonica. And I knew I wasn't going to turn on her only because the game was close still. There were some, I'm not going to talk about the final cycle just yet, but I could have done better in the final cycle. And I could have done better specifically in this one because this one is very crucial when you're thinking about whether or not you're going to win or whether or not you're going to lose.
And then having Nicole there is also scary because I feel like she's so good at these comps that that's when she's going to start really pushing it. So it was really scary having her there with us.
All right. So this question's going to go to Mac, and then it'll move over. So at this point, it was obvious that you and Demonica were working together, and that you guys most likely had a final two. Was there ever a moment where you were like, should I take Nicole? Could I beat Nicole?
It ran through my mind. It was the devil on my shoulder going, you want to win this? You stab that as deep as possible into Demonica's back. I didn't want to. I felt like a stupid person when I got to the space where she could take her steps back that I had just taken from her. So that is a tip for people that want to play this game. Make sure they don't land. If you're going to take from them, make sure they don't land on a space where they can take right back from you. But the end result made me happy. I was glad that I fought with Demonica to get to the end. And we were definitely the underdogs of the season.
Do you want me to repeat the question, Demonica?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So I said at this point, it was kind of obvious that you and Mac have been working together and you guys most likely have a final two. Did Nicole ever have like a shot to get to the end? Like, did it ever run through your mind to take her or no?
No, I definitely was with Mac. Once I decide on my number one, my ride or die in a game, I usually try to stick to that plan. I mean, I'm the last person to. I've been screwed many times because I trusted my ride or die to the end. And then they actually, like Mac said, he thought about it. And that's what really scared me about him, is that I knew Mac is unpredictable. So I took a gamble with Mac. I really did, because I didn't trust Mac, and I did not trust Mac. I mean, we had a game and we were kicking ass in that game, and he just, I would have done it too. I mean, I was doing pretty good in that game, but they took me out, and I held a grudge against him for that. But trusting Mac was the only option for me.
All right. So we're going towards the end of this interview. We're in the final phase now, where you two are the final two. This question's gonna start with Demonica. So you guys were only split by 6 points at that final phase. Like, with you methodically thinking 6, 6, 5, you kind of made sure that you snatched your win, because at that point, Mac had no other chance of stealing, and he had no shot of getting higher. Were you thinking about that the whole time? Like, I need to make sure that I win. He can't steal anymore.
Yeah.
Or was it just kind of like, whoops, I messed up on accident, did a 5, and now he could possibly win?
I really felt like I needed to do big stuff because Mac is still a threat. At the end of the day, there was no one else to take out. It was between me and him, and at that point, we had to go against each other. I still feel like it was a friendly battle, but I also feel like I was taking these big moves because I didn't want to fall behind. I wanted to win. I actually felt like Mac was holding back on me a little bit. I really did. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I needed to take as many steps from him as possible.
Okay, and then Mac, I kind of have a little different question for you. So at that point when you got to steal for the first time, you kind of went back even because Demonica stole from me first. When she took the 5, what was running through your mind?
When she took the 5, I hoped and prayed that I got to take the next move, but it ended up not being so. Because she took 6, 6, and then 5, right? And then at that point, I knew I had probably lost. But it was, I'm not bitter about losing. It's just a learning lesson for the future.
Oh God, can't trust him in the future.
I'm not talking about you specifically.
You're gonna get me back.
The game in general. No, I'm not gonna get you back because you didn't.
Kidding. No, I love Mac. And honestly, that was just a beautiful. I can imagine like Mac, you stole for me in that in one game, and then you and me were there. I mean, it was really for me. It was a very sweet moment. I mean, it really was. Showed how great of a person you are.
Thank you.
We have 2 more questions, and then it wraps us up. The first question is kind of your own opinion. We'll start with Mac. So Mac, from season 1, who would you like to see back for another season, and who would you not want to see back?
Demonica, I don't want to see Nicole back. I don't want to see Dylan back. Unless you do a second chances. Quincy can come back if invited.
Yeah, and Demonica, same question for you.
After this, I don't want to see DJ because he's coming for blood. Well, of course, we know we want to see some of the people back, but I don't want to see. I mean, I want to see Dylan come back. Poor Dylan. He does get the short end of the stick, and he's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy, but maybe Dylan, Quincy, if he can grow some fucking balls, because he needs to grow some. Because he can't play like that. You can't play emotionally.
All right, and then last little wrap-up question. We're gonna start with Mac because he was the runner-up, and then we'll move to Demonica. So Mac, if you could, would you ever play again?
Yes, sign me up for a winner and runner-up season.
All right, and then Demonica, same question. Would you ever want to come back and play again?
Absolutely not. Yes, I would. I would definitely play again. I definitely want to see the future grow before I come back. So yeah, I definitely would play an all-star season or whatever you had come up. I would never say no to you, man.
All right. So we didn't have any viewer questions. So this concludes our postseason interview with the winner and runner-up of 0 Degrees Kelvin Season 1, Demonica and Mac. Thank you all for watching, and if you would like to apply for a season of 0 Degrees Kelvin, message us on Twitter at ZDKelvinGame, or you can email us at 0degreeskelvingame@gmail.com. Both are in the description below. If you have any questions, you could always message me. You can always email me. I'm always here. And a little incentive for everyone. I'm working on a website, so that should be up soon.
Yay, cool.
So thank you all for watching once again. And good evening, good night, good morning, whatever you're watching. See ya.